Hi guys, we bought this home about 9 years ago and finally decided it was time to redecorate and do a slight renovation to our downstairs bath. This is how it looked for the entire time we've lived here. We did just a small amount of decorating, not anything fancy, just enough to say this is the bathroom and you can distinguish it from the rest of the house. The color scheme is just a pale, down-to-earth look. I decided first to redo the towels. I bought ribbon and fabric glue from Walmart. I bought two different kinds that complemented the color of the towels. The towels I chose were their basic Walmart brand towels. Nothing fancy, no design whatsoever. I added my own design. And I got the colors in pink, brown, and beige. Because that was my color theme, I decided to go with a Parisian theme, and those are the colors that I chose. It was very easy to put it on, the ribbon on with the fabric glue. I chose fabric glue because I knew that if I had to wash the towels that it would wash nicely without coming up. I do not plan on washing these too much as they are for display, and I do keep a roll of paper towels in my bath so when people use the bath or need to wash their hands or whatever, they can simply use the paper towels and not have to wipe their hands on my beautiful display towels. And this is the end result after I finished gluing everything down. The next thing I did was I went to the dollar store actually and got a blank canvas picture. Well, it's not blank, but a canvas picture of a rose. Then I went over to their flower section and I got some what do you call it, fake flowers. And I had some Eileen's tacky glue, and I decided that I was going to put one pink, one beige. I pulled apart the flower. As you'll see in a minute, I just took the flower and I got a large flower so that it could pretty much cover a nice area of the picture and still give it a nice 3D look. So I pulled the flower apart petal by petal. I pulled the back off and then I pulled the petals apart one by one, and then I took the Eileen's glue and glued that to the canvas and began to stick each piece of the flower onto the canvas in the same way as the flower originally came. Oh, and now I remember, it's silk flowers. Duh. So that's how I made the 3D flower. I use Eileen's because it's tacky and it will hold while it dries. I don't have to worry about trying to hold an item in place while it dries. So that was awesome for me. What I did next, oh, I'm a little bit behind here. So bear with me guys, this is my first narration video that I've done. I usually talk while I record. This time around it just seems better to do it this way. And this is the finished product. I chose the beige because it would go with the beige, but I also have pink in the area and it came out really nicely, I may add. And so I got this for $2. $1 for the flower, $1 for the canvas. I needed to put some piping around the medicine cabinet. I had a medicine cabinet. My husband took the door off and it left a really nice shelf looking thingy there. So I decided that I was going to put some Eileen's tacky glue on some Parisian print fabric that I had and roll it and make piping. So I put a thin bead of the glue on it and rolled it to make piping. But halfway through the project I decided that I would use Mod Podge, because Mod Podge would make the fabric stiff and I could roll it better. So first roll I used Eileen's, the second I switched to the Mod Podge. But I rolled it up and it made a really nice, stiff, sturdy piece of piping that I used to trim around the shelving unit that was left after we took the cover off the medicine cabinet. Well, you know, the glass part. Once we took that off, this is how I decorated it. And I'll show you that later in the video. This is what the mirror, the mirror and the light look like in the bathroom. This light has been there, and as you can tell, they use the cheapest. My handy husband removed that light fixture and put in a new one that we bought. The one that I chose only came in silver, so I had to sand it and spray paint it to match some of the other decor. And I chose to use the same color of spray paint that I used for the cover plates of the light switch and the cover plate for the plug in the bathroom. To further finish the shelving, I took some more of the same print fabric that I used for the piping, and I covered the shelves. So these are little shelves that were in the medicine cabinet, and I would have left them white, but they had little holes in them, so I decided that it would be best if I covered them. So I used that same Parisian print and I covered them. I took I believe I used Eileen's because it was tacky and it would hold. So I folded in the edges and glued it down and covered the shelves. Then I put the shelves back into the cabinet. Before I did the shelves though, I used burlap. I used some oyster color burlap and lined the medicine cabinet, so it gave it a nice fabric texture in the bathroom and made it look like a shelf out of a high-end type home. At least to me it did look that way, but you'll be able to see it in the finished product at the end of this video. So it came out nicely, actually. I don't think I showed the end product on this. I just had to reconfigure the edges because I didn't measure them. I'm not big at measuring sometimes. Sometimes I just do stuff by eye, you know. I'll just like see if it'll fit. If it doesn't fit, then I'll just adjust it. For me, it's easier to work that way than to measure sometimes. So, and then I was holding the camera so you guys could see what I was doing. And I'm working on my ironing board here, at least the ironing board without the cover, because I didn't want to get it all messed up. This is the soap dispenser, which also matches the container that I used to hold my air spray. And this is what it looked like after I spray painted with the same type of spray paint that we use for the plate covers and the light fixtures. The one to the left still has the tape on it, but the one to the right is what the finished product will look like once you see it at the end of the video. This lovely vase has been painted already with a really soft pink and an antique gold in spray paint. I bought this at the dollar store, and they only had about 6 or 8 of them there, and they came in a lavender type color, which did not match my color scheme, so I spray painted it, and I am really pleased with the way it came out. I tried to do it like a ombre type thing. I'm not sure what you call that when you're painting. I know they call it ombre when you do hair, but for painting a vase it may be called something else. But anyway, it came out really nice. Then my handy husband stepped back in again and put hardware on the cabinets after I had sanded them and painted them and they had dried for a day or two. He came in and put some hardware that I had selected from Home Depot on the doors and on the drawers. He also cut the edge for the mirror because it had to be mitered, and so I wasn't any good at that. So he went out and bought a miter saw, came back and was so gracious to cut those for me, and I painted them and let them dry for a few days, and this is the end result before we put them together around the mirror. Now here's the finished product, starting from the plate covers. The towels came out lovely. I also love the way the picture came out, the pink one, which I placed above the towels because that is where the pink towels were. Underneath the towels I placed a chest. This chest I purchased at Ross. It is a Parisian themed chest in beige and brown with the Eiffel Tower and all the beautiful colors of Paris. Here is a framed print of the Eiffel Tower that matched my colors nicely, that I put in the bathroom as well. I also have the same fabric I used for piping that I showed you earlier. I used that to make a valance up at the top of my window. I put ribbons on the tassels for the blind pulls. I bought flowers again from the dollar store in my color scheme, and I put them in the vase that I showed you earlier, and I also put some more of the ribbon that matched the towels around the vase, and that's my beige flower, and it's looking quite dapper. I don't know if that's a good word to use for something other than a person. That's the light fixture after it was hung, and it went nicely with everything else, and that's when I turned on the light because I didn't want the video to be too dark. This is the end result of the shelf after we removed the medicine cabinet mirror, the piping around it. I put some vases that I had gotten at the dollar store actually, and they matched my color scheme nicely. We painted the vanity. The knobs go very nicely with the color that we chose. The mirror framed nicely, and I have a door there for the shower, but I decided to put a shower curtain there for a different look, so I got that at Anna's Linen. So it came out really nice. It matches the rugs, and it also matches the walls, which are a little bit off color. And I also hung some magnetic lights, just stuck some magnetic lights that I got at Harbor Freight under there, and I used some bins to separate out the cleaning items, and the lights help me find what I'm looking for. You just push them on when you go under there, and it helped me find what I'm looking for, so I can see inside the cabinets, and I keep all my supplies there. And I put some shelf liner down, and it really came out nicely. Everything's organized, has its own place, and I am very pleased with it. And I thank you guys for viewing, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I have a few more to come.